strokes, a lot of people after strokes, cerebral palsy, so these are actually the main two big groups, and a lot of different traumas, neurotrauma or any other trauma. What is important about the NeuroChat? First thing, that there is no age limits for the product, because the only thing is important about the age, that the person have to know alphabets, have to know how to write. But in general, there is no need for any special things that they have to know, like computer science or something. It's just a kind of communicator for them. And two conditions to use it. It's a preserved brain and preserved vision. Can you show me the next one? Thank you. So here's in the photo, you can see one of our patients. His name is Max. He has a cerebral palsy. You will see later in the video how he's using it. What I will tell you about Max, he has a huge problem controlling his body. His wheelchair, he's fixed to his breast, and starting from his breast and down to the legs. So he can't use any normal possibilities for communication. He has kind of now, but it's the one that he was using before NeuroChat, because it's not convenient. It's rather harmful for him to use it as well. Can you show me the other one, please? Yeah, so here is this software part. I've told you about it. It's this main part, which is a visual keyboard that our users are using for communication. I won't tell you now about it a lot. I won't waste time for it, because you will see it later on the demonstration process. Can you show me the other one, please? Here you can see some statistics. What is important about our system? There are some systems which are designed for people who can't move and who can't talk, to communicate. But most, 99% of all these projects, they are still in laboratories, so they are not in the hands of the people with disabilities. Scientists are working on this problem, but it's still in the doors of their laboratories. NeuroChat is the system that is already in the usage at the houses and the hospitals, in the houses of our patients, in the hospitals in Russia and abroad. Here you can see the dynamic of one of our patients. He had 3 attempts of working with NeuroChat. Here you can see how he was getting better and better from time to time. So at the 3rd time of usage, he started to type with no mistakes. It's always the question of the exact person. It's always a question of the desire and the ability to concentrate. Because our patients, they are typing just using their brain and attention, right? They are looking at the screen, they are looking at the exact letter that they want to type, and this neural headset detects the reaction of the brain for their letter. So the concentration is a big thing here. Can I have the other one, please? We already had the first international communicational session with our project, with NeuroChat. It was the first neurocommunicational session for the whole world. It was a really big thing. One of the patients in Russia with a trauma was talking to the patient in Los Angeles in the United States. Both were using NeuroChat, both were communicating, just using their brain and attention. We have a dictionary translator which is integrated to the system, so they both were using their mother tongue, so there was no language barriers. It was a successful session. So the American patient had just one opportunity to use the system. She was the new patient for the hospital, and she succeeded. She typed Russian patient has typed her "Hello Americans" and something, and she replied him "Hello Russia" and something else. So it was rather good, and our American colleagues, American doctors, they were really impressed because for this woman, her diagnosis is cerebral palsy. She has a huge problems with communication. Can you show me please the other one? Yeah, so we still plan now so how it's normally working now. The first thing, people are using it to talk to their family and doctors. Well, it's already a lot, but it was not the idea when we were creating NeuroChat. The idea was the following, that these people have, like, communication is the base of our life, and they have no ability to communicate with other people. So we made a communicator for them. It's not a kind of medical stuff, it's not any hospital stuff, right? It's like you have your smartphones, they have NeuroChat. You can see on the photo, and you can see it now on Alexander, there is no cables, there is no nothing, it's really convenient. People are using it for several hours during the day, like they just put it on and they can use it like 6-8 hours. So for them it's just a kind of communicator, just not with the hands but with the brain. So we have made a connection with social networks for NeuroChat. Because yeah, they can talk to the doctor or they can talk to the family member, but that's not enough. They can't still feel themselves as the same member of the society as you are, as I am, yeah? So having an ability to talk to the people in social networks and Facebook or somewhere, it's a big deal. It's just the other level of life for these people, yeah? So yeah, I've told you, they can talk to the old friends, or they can make new friends who even have no idea about their problems. Yes, sometimes it just needs, yeah, it would be a visual friend, but these people will treat them the different way. They won't treat them as a person with disability or something, you know? So this is already a big deal for them, the ability to live their virtual life. But we still have a lot of features that will be added in the future. I think I will tell you about all the features later till we will make a demonstration. And it's also something for tourism. And can you show me the other one? Yeah, this is also the maps that I have shown it before. Show me the other one, please. Yeah, this is our context. So now I will ask you to show you the video from the camera. Excuse me, sir. Can you show me the video from this camera? Yeah, we will now make a demonstration for you. So how does it work? I've told you, yeah, the person is concentrating on virtual keyboard, looking at the letters that he wants to type, and this neuro headset detects his reaction. So letter by letter, our user can type the whole word. But it's always difficult to understand, just listening. Always better to see how it works. Can you please turn on this camera? No, turn off the video, please. Can you turn on this camera? Because we will make a demonstration now. To see this, to show this man, please. No, not me. This. Yeah. Yeah, so you can see Alexander wearing this neuro headset. On the back part of his head, you can see a special electrodes. So these electrodes, they are detecting his brain reactions on what is happening on the screen of his computer. So you can see now on his screen on the computer some blocks. There are some ready-to-use blocks about day-by-day stuff. For example, about food, about bath. People don't need to type it every day, right? They don't need to type every day, I want to go to the toilet, I want to have some food, because they ask for it every day. So we have made a special ready-to-use blocks. But more to this, we have made this. We made special services for him, just to like some services. He can read some news, cultural news, some tourism information, some sport information. So he doesn't need to ask someone. You know how important it is when you don't need to ask someone, when you go and do it by yourself. You want to read any news, you want to learn, I don't know, something about Eurovision now, right? You can go and do it by yourself, by your brain intention. So we are using hands to search for this information. They are going to the special part of this software where they can see all this news. You can see, yeah, go closer. So yeah, it's not that good here, but so on the left part of the screen there is they will see this news that they're choosing, and they also can choose the topic of the news. Okay. So yeah, but yeah, this is the thing to do for them to pass their free time, right? To read something or whatever. Now Alexander has chosen this visual keyboard. I have told you this is the main part. This is the part that allows people to communicate with the whole world. So you can see now on the right part of the screen there are the separated letters. Well, this is just an alphabet. On the left part of the screen, there are ready-to-use words. So, for example, our user, our patient, is want to type hello for his friend. So hello starts with H, right? He is concentrating on H and looking to this letter. You can see that most of the letters, they are, well, on your screen it's now white. Well, actually they are black. Well, all the letters are white here, right? But sometimes program change the color of the letters from white to black. So when his letter, like H, yes for hello, changes the color from white to black, his brain reacts. This reaction is detected by neural headset that he is wearing on his head. So system see that when H changed the color, he had a reaction. It means that he wanted to type this letter. So thus, letter by letter, he can type the whole world. For these people, we know we work with the patients already. We work in free rehabilitational centers in Russia with the patients. They're using it. So we know that for them, the speed of the input, it doesn't matter. But yeah, for the people who have no problems with the communication, it's always the question. So we have made something for that. We have made a special predictional system. So these words on the left that you can see, they are working as a prediction system, as a Google search, for example, right? So when the person starts to type something, system offers him variants, so offers him words that he might want to type. Like, for example, he's starting with like hello with the H-E, and on the left part he will see hello, helicopter, well, all these words which are starting with these letters. So thus, he doesn't need to type the whole long word. He can just type 2-3 letters and then just choose the whole ready-to-use word from the left part. So Alexander is actually doing it just right now. So he's looking to the exact letter. I can see that he has already typed a letter D. The system has to get this reaction for the same letter for several times to be sure that this is the letter that he's thinking about. So, for example, if the system gets this reaction to some whatever A, for example, once, and types it, it means that we can get a lot of mistakes because person could just look at this letter but think about the other letter. That's why we are waiting for several reactions to the same letter. Yeah, he has typed the second letter. You can see on the left part you can see he is typing. On the right part you can see the dialogue part. So he can see the answers of his friend on the right, and he's typing there. Yeah, for him we have this interface for Alexander and for our patients, but for his friends it will be, for example, a Facebook Messenger. So it's just the interface for the patients because they can't use normal websites. They can't control them with a like brain attention, right? They need a special system. That's why we made this interface. So as I've told you, we have integrated the translator in this system. So that is how they can now communicate with even with the people from abroad. While we will work with the speed of the system, we also plan that our users, our patients, will be able to start working sometime. Because there are some kind of work they can't do, like copywriting, for example, right? Or like website design or something. I mean, like there's a lot of online works that they can do. They just need this tool to do that. Yeah, well, I think that we already have the whole word. Yeah, Alexander has typed in Russian "давайте," which means let's. So he has chosen, you can see he has chosen the right part. It means that he decided to type using alphabet. He's not using the predictional system. Yeah, thank you. That's good. We have two variants for our users. The system which has the exact amount of inlines of the exact letter, like for example 20 times each letter would be inlined. Or we have the other system for our users who are using the system for a long time. The amount of the flashes depends on the quality of his reaction. For example, for some letter he might need just 3 flashes. Well, he didn't look that concentrated to the letter, maybe he will need 10 flashes, so it depends. This is how we are working with the speed of our input. Yeah, he's typing "let's work", I can see it now. Давайте work. Работать. Yeah. As I have told you, we are already working with the patients. So for now, we have 3 rehabilitational centers in Russia. Most of the users there are people with cerebral palsy and strokes. We have this American center with whom we were working while our first international communicational session. So this is Tech Medical School, maybe you know that this is a big medical school from Los Angeles. So they are now starting to work with them. We are expanding the project around the world now. We had already a good communication. We have a good communication now with the people from the United States, from Asia, and from Europe. They are really interested in the system. The good thing about NeuroChat is that it's so easy to use, that people really can use it at their houses. They don't need any doctors, they don't need anyone to do this. I don't know, like a member of the family, they can just put this Neuro headset, they can turn on the computer for the patient, for the user, and he will be able to live his own life during the day till his family getting back from home from work, for example. Can you show me the results? Yeah, we got 2 words, and now you can see Alexander has chosen the whole word. Let's work together, he has typed. The first 2 words were typed letter by letter. The third one he has just chosen from the left column. So this is really convenient because so we have connected it with Google Search. So it's the statistics of the search. So the system really knows which are the most popular words started with these letters. So it really helps. It really expands the speed of the input. I think he's just trying to send the letter now. So you now could see how it works. You know the problems, the diagnoses with which we are working now. And I think that better than any words, could be our film, which we have made together with our patients, with our Russian patients, with the people who are really using it now, with the people for whom it's helping now. So I will ask you to turn on this video, please. Talking about the tourists, I told you that we are...
In the modern world, people value freedom most of all. Freedom of choice, movement, freedom of communication. But life could deprive us of that freedom at any moment. Some unexpectedly, and others from the moment of birth.
Yeah, this is Maxim. You could see it in my presentation.
We have a diagnosis of cerebral palsy, the hyperkinetic form. It's when hands and feet move unintentionally. They're not controllable. Hands, feet, everything is fixed. Only the head is working. And since the child needed to communicate and learn, first we were given this roller with 2 buttons. Then we came up with something else, a stylus, like this. And we began to type with it.
Working with stylus, which is fixed to the head, is rather cumbersome. We need new technologies, so we decided to invite the boy to our neurochat research.
Don't pay attention to us. Now some symbol will be highlighted. Do you see the letter F first? F is highlighted. You should find the letter you need and count the number of its highlights. If everything works out, then your letter will be printed in the upper left corner. The NeuroChat project is a network communication for people who for some reason have lost the ability to speak and move. Its main idea is that a person can communicate with other people without using speech or movements. Therefore, the basic technology is called brain-computer interface. You're a good fighter. The project was conceived a little less than 2 years ago. But its development and approval took almost 9 months. Just like the birth of a child. It became one of the first projects of the National Technological Initiative in developing and promoting new markets. And this is the market of neuronets. We launched the parts of this project in parallel. The scientific group was completing the research. Hardware engineers started to develop an amplifier. Industrial designers began developing the neural headset and securing the electrodes.
For us, it was a very interesting project. And due to the fact that our heads are absolutely different in shapes and sizes, none of the analogues that we looked at was suitable. The main story takes place here. Here are the electrodes, which must be very close to the back of the head. There were maybe 8 or 9 types of fastening. There was this type of springs. Some products are completely strange. I don't even know how to wear it. This prototype is the closest to what it will be later. In such system, we solder the wires together inside this spider, which can be removed and washed. It is a completely new story that can make a major breakthrough in medicine.
We have already received a Russian patent. And today we have already come to the center of Breda, where there are exactly those patients who need such technology.
Spinal trauma.
This equipment has already come to us in its complete version and ready to use. The level of equipment amazes with its abilities. And the first clinical trials began. We record the electric potentials of the brain. Through analyzing these potentials, we try to decode which symbol the person intends to print on the computer screen. This part of the work is done, and the project is called Neurocommunicator. But now we want to go further. Our idea is to create the next level of such communication. Not a neurocommunicator, but a neurochat, so that a person can join a social network. A person will be able to choose his companions, friends of interest. People who would like to help this patient can join the social network. And in the end, if a person starts using such a network, he can, step by step, take on some appropriate work. He could do translations, he could work as a programmer, or do some other communication work. He can be included in society as far as possible.
Yeah, this is Masha. She's totally paralyzed. Only her eyes are moving.
Say what you want. Before? Up?
They're communicating now with her mother.
You? That is me. After the coma, we didn't know whether the intellect was preserved or not. But when we realized that the intellect was preserved, it was necessary to somehow communicate. Because the child did not speak. There was a tracheostomy, a gastrostomy. Here we divided the Russian alphabet into two parts, from A to K and from K. So we communicate by using eye blinks.
Masha Fedotova has a severe brainstem lesion. When will she have additional motor functions? We cannot say that now. And here is NeuroChat, the opportunity for her to reach the vastness of knowledge of the internet, and to acquire it all independently.
Nowadays, medicine is well developed in the world. We learn how to save people after accidents, disasters, strokes. But if after that they just remain alone with themselves, they lose their motivation to live. Our task is to help these people. Moreover, this technology allows us to overcome another barrier that exists today. It's a language barrier. In the near future, we are planning to connect two patients, one in the Rehabilitation Center of Los Angeles, and the other in the Overcoming Rehabilitation Center. One patient will communicate in Russian, and the other patient in English. Today's translation technology allows us to make this translation en route. In the future, we understand that this networking spread across all countries of the world.
In Russia alone, about 400,000 new stroke cases are registered every year. Approximately the same number of head injuries. In general, statistics in the rest of the world are even worse. But people do continue to live. They want to rejoice, to communicate with relatives and friends from different cities and in other corners of the planet. And so they're waiting for NeuroChat to come into their lives.
Yeah, thank you. That's the video. Thank you. So, yeah, about the tourism, I will again tell you something. So, what we have made already and what we will make in future. What is made now? They now can use internet resources for information. Yeah, so they can get this news, this info about the different countries, about the tourist options. Second thing that will be made soon, we will connect new chat to these virtual tours. So our patients who have that boundaries that they cannot travel, they will have an opportunity to travel in the virtual world. They will choose just with a brain intention, with a brain, which country is interesting for them, which video they want to watch, and they will travel, yeah, just online, but they still will start to travel, being paralyzed, lying in their beds, in their houses, but having an ability to see the world. Thank you.